back. Been working on my forest area, and here about a year ago my grandson, well, why don't you make it look like a forest fire went through there. I said, ah, good idea. So I've been working on some bottle brush trees to go in that area. Ron's Trains and Things does a great video on how to put these together. So I went out looking on the internet for something to give me a little inspiration and came up with this photo. So let me show you the progress that I've made on that. To make these, I use floral wire. This is 20 gauge, 20 pieces in it, it's about 18 inches long. You can pick that up at Walmart. While you're there, grab some tacky glue. Works well. We need a little jute string or hemp string, twine. I don't know where I picked this up. I think I've had it for 20 years. But some of that, and then we cut that down into some smaller pieces, small, kind of medium, and a little bit larger ones here as we work down the tree. And a couple of pliers. You need a drill with a, I use a teacup holder in that, and the teacup hook. And some people use a vise. I just use a good old pair of vice grips on it and hold it and do it up. So here we go. I take the wire and fold it in half. Put a twist in the end. I go clockwise because that's the direction the drill is going to turn. Here I made a little device just to kind of hold that up in place, give me a third hand. Apply a little of the tacky glue. And then I'm going to start at the top. And for these burnout trees, I'm going to make the top very thick. And you'll see here when I get down a little bit farther, I'll really start to spread the twine out. A comb helps sometimes to thin it out a little bit. And here's where I'll start to really thin the twine out to make it a lot thinner at the bottom of the. This was going to be a regular tree. I would keep it fairly thick going all the way down. Hold that in place, and this is a good time to kind of just straighten up the twine there a little bit. Grab it with my vice grips and use the drill here to spin this up. And now use a comb to just kind of straighten it up. I sprayed these out with the camouflage paint. Sprayed it, and then what I did was I just did the bottom area here in flat black. And we're only going to put the ground covering just on the top here. Now I do want to make the trunk, and what I use for the trunk is I do have some latex paint here. I think I got that off of eBay. And I just use a toothpick to coat this bottom area in here, just to give it a little bit of thickness to it. Normally I do like that. Takes about an hour or two for it to dry, and then I'll come back. I'll put one more coat on it. Here what I've got is some flat black paint here. And I'm going to paint these tree trunks out. And once again, if this was a live tree or a green, green all the way up, I would paint it with a brown, light brown, medium brown. So anyway, we're just going to paint the trunks out, and then we'll put the covering on the top. Okay, got my my tree here, and what I'm going to do is I've got some Woodland Scenics grass and a little shaker here, and I'm just going to trim out this top part. This bottom, we'll come back and clean that up once we have everything done. I'm just going to use hairspray in this section here. Be right back. Okay, I'll let that set up a little bit, and we'll come back and we'll trim off some of these ones that don't look like they match very well. I want to trim this up just to see if there's anything that kind of looks out of shape. Maybe a little bit over here. Definitely some sticking out a little bit too far here. Just kind of trim those up a little bit. I want to go with a little bit of an angle. I've got one in here. Got some real fine nippers here that clean that up, look at the top a little bit. So just kind of get it so it's tapered, nothing sticking out. And I think we're ready to go plant a couple trees. Here's the area that I decided to make look like this was burnt out. And I didn't want a bad forest fire, but I sprayed this with a flat black and added a little bit back in. I'm going to probably blacken these stones up a little bit more. And I'm going to make some small pieces of timber to lay down in there and paint those out black. And I started putting the trees in the back, but I'm going to work my way down the hill here. And just making look the bottom half of the trees have been burnt out. Here I took a couple of super trees and just stripped all the small branches off of it. And then just used the trunk area. Put a light coat of black on it. Tried to dry brush a little bit of brown just to give it a little effect. But anyway, and I made up a few of these. Going to scatter these on the floor of the burnout area there, and then put the burnout trees on top of it. I've now added some rocks to it and some down timber in here. Made some stumps, and next we'll add some trees. So let me show you how I did the stumps. Okay, what I have here is a bamboo skewer. These about 6 inches long. I picked them up at Walmart. I think there's 300 of them in a pack. And I'm going to start by roughing up this edge. I've got a saw blade here with some rough teeth in it, and just kind of secure that, scrape that down the. So now if I was going to make more, I could actually break this in a couple places, but this for here, I'll just take this and snap that, and you can see it leaves some rough edges around it. Some of this I'll clean up. Those are a little bit long. And this one here, probably nip off part of that top there. So now I'm going to take these, and I will use some acrylic paint, brown. It's going to be in the burnt forest area. I maybe shade it with a little bit of black on it to paint these up. I painted this up with some dark roof brown, and only painted down about 3/4 of an inch. I'll cut this off at 1 inch, and then I've got a little tool here that I like to use. I'll poke down through the foam that I have, a little white glue, and push this in about halfway or so, leave part of it out. And to finish up the pine tree, now that we have the base painted out, brown or black, I'm going to remove the top piece up here, a pair of wire cutters. Quite often I find that the top of the tree needs a little bit more shaping. And just take a pair of scissors and just taper that a little bit more in to resemble the top of a tree. Look around, and we have something like that. Got the tree here. I've taken the top off. I've reshaped the top a little bit. Cutting the bottom, I leave about a 3/4 of an inch, right around there, maybe an inch of wire, and that's what I'll put down into the foam. I just use a toothpick to get the hole started, and then we'll put this one in. A dab of white glue. As you can see, I've planted some other ones there that all just white glue will disappear. And we just go. Here's the final scene. That's going to wrap this video up, but hopefully I've given you a couple ideas of something to try or do. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Have a great day.